Good evening and welcome to Slam the Gavel, the show that tells all regarding family court, criminal court, and other court issues as well as CPS. I am your host, Maryann Petri. You can find me, my books, and blogs on dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com, and they are on audio as well. I have a return guest. I have my good friend Marineka Bowman back on. We're going to talk about her updates with this Delaware court, which has been an issue for years. Court orders not being followed. They're photocopying the notes of our podcast, Slam the Gavel. And they're saying that Marineka has mental health issues because she comes on my podcast, Slam the Gavel. However, Laura Brooks and Judge Natalie Haskins are making a big mess of this case. And we're going to have a lot to talk about because Marineka's daughter is not doing well in school, and they don't seem to be bothered by this one bit. So I welcome you back, Marineka. I'm sorry you're still continuing to go through this, along with, this court-ordered counseling that has yet to take place.
Yes. Yes, Maryann. Yes, it's a constant back and forth. We're going back and forth with the counseling, but which I'm gonna address along with, my daughter education is being neglected, which had been brought up multiple times, especially lately in our last court hearing in February. February. It was brought up, and I took all three of her report cards from kindergarten to first grade. She haven't been doing well in school, and I brought that to the judge's attention. So now the dad moved her to a different school, which I don't even understand. He told me like a week before she moved to a different school, and now she just had a test, and she haven't done well in that test. But I will come back to that. You see, what I'm going to say, Maryann, yes, they're accusing me of coming on the podcast. So they accuse me to coming on the podcast because they upset about what I speak about, what they were doing. So they want to continue to use me as a scapegoat and demonize me to cover what they actually did to me. And I know they don't want to hear it. It doesn't concern anybody what they have done. But I'm going to say it again because you know why I'm going to say it again? Because like I said to you before, if they had unalived me, which could have happened in numerous occasions, the FBI is who is going to, job is going to be easy. It's not for them. So I don't care what they think or how they feel about what I said they were doing. I'll make sure that if anything was done to me, that it wasn't going to be a hard investigation. I wasn't going to make the FBI work hard to find out because they were coming to my home. One, they were coming to my residence. I had nothing to, I hadn't no issues with none of these people. And I talk about this over and over. They gang stalked me like for what, over 3 years? Yes, and all of this was brought to the court. All of this was brought to Natalie Ashkins, even her current way call it bailiff. He was one of the individuals that was following me. I don't know everybody.
Right.
So I did mention in the podcast, and I did make a report to the Supreme Court that her bailiff was following me around in BJ's. And I think it was 2022 or 2023 when I made the complaint about him. Right? So that was just one time that I saw him. So who knows if he wasn't involved with the other hundreds of people that was coming to my home.
Well, also, Judge Natalie Haskins maybe should review the Constitution where the First Amendment rights, you're allowed to speak. I don't know why they're having a problem with this.
But the thing is, if they had done what they're supposed to do, I wouldn't have been on the podcast.
Oh, yes.
I would not have been on this podcast. But because you want to blackmail me and scapegoat me or demonize me to justify what you did, what you're doing. Because especially with the court orders, say, for example, we had like 20 court orders. None of it has been followed. That should have never get full custody. Okay, you did I believe it's between 2021 and 2022, she had a court order stating that we have to finish a certain counseling and go for the mental health evaluation within a specific time. That did not do it. you wait till this was time for us to go back to the court, and then she want to put it on me, blame me that I didn't want to participate. I was reluctant to do it, and mother was refusing, and you gave him sole custody based on that. So now what you gonna say? Now we're in 2025, right? The child's supposed to get counseling from according to the court order, from April 2025, and then I don't know what happened. We in November. Today is November
November 11th.
11th.
Yeah.
November 11th, and that court order have not been followed. I reached out to the counselor after I got the court order, and she never responded. I reached out to her twice via email. But that's the issue that I was having with this counselor before. Multiple times that I reached out to her and she never responded. So I reached out back to her again in like the end of September. She did respond. And then she told me that it don't make no sense for her to continue with the counseling because if everybody is not going to participate. And I was like, what are you talking about? I said, last year we started doing the counseling. I was present at every session that we had, with the exception of 2 times when I had emergency. I said, but most of the time you were out sick, you were calling out, then you cancel and you move to a different agency. So that's not my issue. So I said, who is the issue? I said, I made every effort to do the counseling. So that's not my fault.
No.
Then she said that I don't trust her. And I said, yes, I did tell you that last year, but this time is a different time. That was last year, I tell you, and I had all reasons to tell you why. And now you give me even more reasons to not to trust you, because she told me that actually when I did speak to her, she said somebody at the court told her that the case is closed. So the case is closed, so you didn't have to counsel? I said, who is this somebody? She didn't answer me. Who is the somebody that tell you? Then she come back to tell me that in that same court order in April 25th, 2025, I had given the law, I had passed that court order to somebody. So I didn't get a chance to go back and read it. And I didn't get a chance to go back to the court to get a copy of it to see what is she talking about.
Right.
What she said in the court order stated that the case is closed. So the case is closed. So what do you tell me, that I'm going to have a lifetime of supervised visit once Sunday? So how could you think that you're spiting me and not thinking about the trauma that you're causing my child? And not thinking about the trauma, the psychological effects that you're going to have on this child to have supervised visit for the rest of our lives?
Oh.
So how you could say that the court is doing whatever it is for the best interest, and you have supervised visit for the rest of our lives? Okay. So I said, okay. So what from the last discussion, I said, I don't remember seeing that. I said, but I didn't get a chance. I have to go back to the court and get a copy of that court order to see that part, because the copy that I had, I gave it to somebody. Because I thought I could have just easily went back into egress where they send the encrypted notes. But because it was so long, the egress is giving me a hard time to open. And I tried contacting egress to get it open, and it's not opening. So I have to go back to the court and pay to get that court order, and which I didn't get an opportunity to get that. I said, but okay, put aside that. I said, what was discussed in court that we are going to continue the counseling, because that's what you said to the court, that my daughter and I need to continue counseling because I don't know how to bond. We need to bond because she's scared of me and all of this stuff that you wrote.
Isn't it terrible?
Why won't you not continue with the counseling? Because that was the discussion from my understanding. So I don't know where you get this from, that the judge tell you that the case is closed, or whoever tell you that the case is closed and the counseling discontinue. I said, but okay, why didn't you reach out to me? I reached out to you twice. Why didn't you respond to me? So she began to tell me that the insurance, she had issues with the insurance from over 6 months. I said, but you never mentioned this in court. You never mentioned that you had an issue with this in court. Then she was like, oh, she was just doing a favor for the father. But then she was like, oh, I just love my family. And I said, no, you said it right the first time. You was doing a favor for the father.
And that's what they've been
you
doing all along.
Yeah, you doing a favor for the father. So I said, that's why I always say, that's why I don't trust you. And I said, you're being used as a puppet to keep
Mm.
my child away from me. I asked her, I said, do you have kids? I said, as a counselor, do you really think about the trauma that that this child is gonna endure, the psychological uh, effects that it's gonna have on a child? I said, I don't think it's important for a child to have a mom. Yes, it's important. So I said, so why the counseling stop?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question.
Why you stop with the counseling? Who is the somebody at the court tell you the counseling? You don't have to continue counseling. But this is another thing. I said, okay, even if you had said you had issues with the counseling and Blue Shield, Blue Cross paying you, but you remember, back up for a second, you remember the father then working for a whole year.
Right.
So he lost his job, so that insurance discontinued. However, I did propose to the court that my counselor would have been able to do the family counseling with my daughter and I under my insurance. It's not like she was going to take away from Sarah Whittington. Sarah Whittington would have still be her counselor because this woman is already counseling me. She cannot do family counseling and be her personal counseling from what she explained to me. But she could have done the family counseling, which could have, gotten out of the way already. But Judge Natalie Hashkin declined for that woman to do the counseling. So here we are with the 20th or the 40th court order that is not being followed. So after she talked to me September 30th, Sarah Whittington, about the counseling, so I said, okay, are we going to continue with this counseling? Because, it's time going. We're about to approach a new year. I need to connect back with my child.
Mm-hmm.
I said, reunification is important. You don't think it's important? So she told me that she have to talk to my daughter to see if she want to talk to me and all of this. I said, this is the same thing you tell the court the whole last year. You said the same thing. You come telling me the same thing again?
The thing is, your child never had any problems bonding with you for all the years you've
Because,
had her.
yeah, from birth till whenever. So now, she had a session. She told me when I called her, I think was in October 6th or between October 3rd. She never responded. I followed her back in October 8th. Then she was like, "Oh, I have to still talk to your daughter to see where we at and stuff like that." So she called me. I think was the 13th or sometime in October,
Mm-hmm.
the middle of October, like minutes to 8, after 8 minutes to 9, to see if we could have a session the next day. Mind you, when I talked to her on the 30th, I said I have a job and it's a new job. You're gonna do different training and stuff. So I need you to give me that courtesy and a heads up for me to know when are you gonna have these sessions so I can better, prepare myself and so we wouldn't have no conflict of time. So she called me the day before to have a session the next day. So right there, you just continuously to want to be disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did have the second session with her, I said, "Where is my daughter?" Because that's what you told me that's what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, she didn't come and she feel like she wasn't ready yet. Okay, I said, so what are we calling this session? Because you said we're gonna have a parenting session with me and the child, which is supposed to happen since when, and it's not happening.
This
So
is
where is her?
right.
Where is my daughter? Oh, we're just gonna have the sessions with me and her. And then she was like, oh, I'm gonna be out for the rest of October. So
I'm not a lawyer, but isn't this some form of custodial interference of some sort?
that's exactly what she's doing. That's exactly what Sarah Whittington is doing.
Oh, this is just
That's exactly, as a counselor, she should know better. And seeing that she don't care about her license, I'm going to go all the way up to the licensing department for her license. Because if she thinks that whoever she's doing a favor for the father,
ugh.
so the insurance is not paying you. So is he paying you? Who is paying you? So I want you to ask all the counselors that came on your show if they will counsel a client that they love so much for over 6 months for free. I could see one of my counselors doing it once, but not for over 6 months.
Mm-mm.
And this is not something that she raised in court that the insurance was a problem. But this is something that I raised that he wasn't working. But remember, they ignore it too because they didn't want to hear what I was saying when when he did the child support, because remember I had to pay for the medical through child support, and then he went on Medicaid, and then he wasn't, before he get Medicaid he wasn't working, but still I was paying for the medical through child support.
Mm-hmm.
But she never mentioned this. So you just came back in October, one session, and then you disappear again. She's gonna be out. So she told me she's gonna call me sometime this month, which I haven't heard from her. This is the second week in November. We're just about, the next week is Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Here again, you're not giving me the courtesy. I told you that I got a new job.
Right.
So
Oh,
when are you gonna call me? The day before again? And then if I tell you I can't, then you're gonna say that I'm refusing to counsel. And this is the excuse that they keep making and writing all this craziness. That's why I'm at a point that I don't ever give a damn, Maryann. I'm sorry to say it like this, that what they're writing, none of those court orders, because they falsify a lot of information.
mm-hmm.
They
That's
falsify a lot of information.
that's fraud on the court too.
So I am not even bothered. But what they write as a monstrous mother, if I'm pronouncing the word right.
Oh.
So I don't care what they write. Because even with the podcast notes that they're printing out, and all the podcast notes and all, none of that was presented like, oh, they had a big issue with the podcast and all of that stuff, and we presenting this as evidence to the court, but it's in the file.
Well, I really hope they learn about child psychological abuse, because that's exactly what they're doing. It's in the DSM-5 V995.51. That's what they're doing to your child, and that is a crime.
And then when now coming to her, okay, the counseling is not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because say waiting don't seem to make it's not important, because she even tell me, oh, your daughter went to new counsel program in the summer, and she was happy, and she was fine, so she didn't need to be bothered with anything. You as a counselor telling, so you are diminishing the fact that she needs counseling, and not even diminishing, undermining the fact that to delay the reunification process with me and my child, that you feel like you're God and you have it in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, she went to the program and she was happy anyway, so she didn't need to be bothered with anything. So she basically telling me my child didn't need to be bothered with me. Basically, that's what you're insinuating. Then another thing with the visitation, he had over 6 from May. I think I saw her in one time in May,
Mm-hmm.
maybe one time in May, one time in June. From May to June from May to July 4th, I probably see her twice, because he keep calling the center saying that she's sick, she's sick, she's sick, she's sick. Then next thing I saw, the director for the visitation center sent me a letter stating that my visitation is in jeopardy to be canceled. I was like, why are you sending me this?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm there for my visit. Why are you sending me this? I said, he's the one who's canceling. I said, if he can't do the visit, he need to let you know, and you need to let the court know. I said, but how many times could a parent call to say that a child is sick before you're not having a concern? So I end up emailing him, and I was like, what's up with all these sick things? You're not telling me that she's sick every week? So then he said that he told me that the doctor told him that she have to use Miralax on the weekend. And I was like, really? Where's the doctor's note? Where is the doctor's note? Is every time when is my visit she have to use Miralax?
Hmm.
So then when I get on him, then he turned and tell me that, oh, he just got a new job, and that's the only time he get a chance. Okay, if this child is, as a nurse, you're a nurse, somebody, you know how painful it is if somebody's constipated, right?
Right.
So why would you wait? If you're taking a child during the week to the doctor, why are you waiting until the weekend to give her the treatment?
Mm-hmm.
for constipation. Why? And the doctor did not say anything like that. The nurse, the RN, is who wrote that note saying that child have to take it on the weekend because whatever charm he charmed them, she wrote that note, but that didn't come from the doctor. I finally now get back into the doctor's record, and that did not, the woman did not write that.
You know, you could probably write her up to the nursing board, right?
But you see, when you talk, everything you talk about Natalie Ashkin want to block you. I talk about her education. She's still not doing good.
Oh.
You know, it really hurt me with her education because from a baby, I invest. Even before my child started talking, you know, even being aware of anything, I used to keep playing Baby Can Read. A lot of leapfrog videos I used to play,
Right.
repeated repetitively over and over. So when she started talking, she already knew her letter songs and all of that stuff. I spent a lot of times reading with her. And then my aunt, husband, and had bought this preschool program. I don't remember the name right now off my head, but it's $1,500 for that program. All that stuff is discontinued, and that program would have helped her from first grade to eighth grade with every single thing that she's doing. And she was doing some of the work, even though, you know, above her grade level. So she was already advanced for pre-kindergarten, advanced for kindergarten. Soon as you get custody, she fall right back, and the judge don't see that as an issue. But you know, I'm gonna get the ADA involved because when child, like with the divorce, with the trauma and the anxiety and all of that stuff, that is considered a disability.
Uh-huh.
And for this to be brought up to you how many times and you don't think that this is important to her education, even the gal that she have, nothing is in place, but everything is being put in place to stop me from, you know, to target me that I can't get involved in her education and I can't do this and I can't do that because you don't want me to talk. She's not doing good. And I'm going to go all the way. I'm going to get the ADA involved. I will.
Yeah, I think you should.
And where I'm working now, I have full access to them. I will get them involved.
That's great.
Because you can't say that you take a child to give him or her to a parent, right? That where they were well taken care of, and you don't not interested in the health, the well-being, the education, nothing. So what is the best interest of the court? What is the best interest of the child?
Mm-hmm.
And then you write that the court is so scared and concerned and fearful of the mom.
Right.
But here you take this child and give her sole custody to a father who don't give a damn about her education.
And
because now she's in second grade. 1 second, Maryann. She's in second grade,
yep.
right? So after a while, guess what's gonna happen? She's not gonna want to do no schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she's in the class, guess what's gonna happen after then? When they don't want to do no work and then she's bored, she's gonna be distracted in the class, and that's how behavior is gonna come out.
Mm-hmm.
That's how behavior is gonna come out. So all of this, our education is on that gal and the judge, Natalie Hashkins. Yes, Natalie Hashkins, she's not doing good. She's continuously not doing good in school. And it's not okay. It's not okay. The way this country is going now and with jobs and everything, we want her to dance on a pole, I don't know. You neglecting my child education. Because if their parents had neglected them, they would never be judges. They would never be lawyers. They would never be anything. I know what it is to have an education. It's not like we didn't have education from Guyana. But the resources that they have here, we didn't have there. And when I came to this country, I learned very fast. In order for you to get a good job and to have a decent living, you better go back to school. And that's how I end up going back to school. So I know where I come from where education is concerned. So that's why it's important to me. And not even that, working in a prison, you have people there that is 50 or 60 or 70 and don't know how to read and write. Do not know how to read and write. Ms. Bowman, could you read this for me? I don't want my child to be in that position. And I take my time out and I start doing behavioral specialist job in all the schools in Delaware. I went to every school district, and I see even those kids. I'm not even gonna get into the kids with IEP. I see how they deal with the kids, even on IEP in some of the schools. I am telling you, if these parents don't help these kids, and I was like, nope, my child is not gonna be in this position. And
Hmm.
I make sure I was already working with her. I
Mm.
have aunts that is teachers. I have a whole tub of stuff from first grade, from kindergarten, from preschool to 12th grade for my daughter. My aunt gives to me. And if I have any issues, I have my aunts. Her
Mhm.
cousins, they're all straight A students. All my brother kids, straight A students. So if I don't know how to do something, she have her cousins could help her. She have my family that is teachers could tutor her.
Hmm.
So I don't understand why Natalie Ashkin feel that the education and Patricia weird. You get $2,000 an hour. I saw her bill. $2,000 an hour the gal get,
Oh my gosh.
right? I saw that bill in my record. They forget to take that one out.
Wow, that's a third party parasite getting $2,000 an hour.
Then coming back, another thing that I need to address. The one, like I said, they want to keep scapegoating me when I speak about things.
Hmm.
And I had an attorney that told me that my daughter is a liar. But I wish she, and I know they listen to this, and I want her to know that I recently find out through that record now that I went on and look at. You had the daycare that she was going to that Laura Brooks told my her dad to put her in because she didn't want her to go to the daycare that I had her in, Learning Express, which is a very good, the best, one of the best daycares in Delaware. I'm not doing no advertising for them, but one of the best daycares is Learning Express. They
Hmm.
potty train, and when it comes to children education, they 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 make sure everything is up to par. And all those teachers were well trained, and they're retired principals and all of that stuff. So they know exactly how to prepare the children. And you move her from that daycare where she could have gotten a better foundation to put her in a daycare Laura Brooks tell you to put her in. That then was a waste of time. Absolute waste of time. And I think was just a $20 difference or $10 difference.
Hmm.
And that daycare that I had her in was much closer to his house than the one Laura Brooks told her, tell him to put her in. But just again, you want to spike me, you want to change everything, you want to erase my identity and all of that stuff from her. And you coming back to my identity. Yes, I'm Guyanese, and I'm proud to be a Guyanese American.
Hmm.
Because Sarah Whittington even asked me with that. I'm gonna bring her back. So now you have a problem that I'm a Guyanese. So now they make it clear you have a problem that I'm a Guyanese. I'm still her mom.
Right.
I'm still her mother.
And they're interfering with her culture.
I'm still her mother. Whether I'm Guyanese, Bajan, whoever it is, I'm still her mom.
Uh-huh.
But just because, like I said, I talk about what they were doing to me, and you know what they forget to even write in that court order? Laura Brooks was taunting me in the courtroom, right? Like she wanted to fight. And I just watched her and that was going on in the court. And the next thing too, coming back to stay with, and sorry to be jumping all over the place with that court order, because they mentioned that my child was scared to come with me. Though she would only go out with Sarah Whittington. Sarah Whittington was very upset because she said she never said nothing like that, that my child would only come with me if she's coming. So I said, how come they come to write all of that stuff in the court order? How come? And I said, you even say that that I was talking negative about the father. And I said, I'm not gonna say nothing different than what you don't tell me how to talk my story, right? I
Hmm.
almost lost my life 3 times with gang stalking. Even if they were trying to intimidate me, it's 3 times that I could recall that I could have lost my life.
Right, right.
So you don't tell me how to feel and what to dismiss because you are a supportive father, you're doing favors for him. Don't tell me how to feel. They were coming to my house. You like anybody to come to your house 24/7 for 3 years? And they were using the job vehicle, the police vehicle. Then they were using the Newcastle County local government. They're located on Reed's Way in Newcastle. Their government vehicle was coming to my house. All of that stuff. Even when I went for the record, she was like, "Oh, this one gonna get you in trouble." No, I'm not gonna get you in trouble. Just do what it's supposed to do. The supervisor. Why? Because all of you clicky clangy. So I mustn't say nothing. You had the DFS workers ignoring marks and bruises and cuts on my daughter, and I must not say anything. You wouldn't like nobody to do that to you or your child.
Mm-hmm.
Even when she was going to the daycare, like I said, that daycare worker was writing all of that notes. The father was going and telling her whatever story he was telling her, and she was writing in advance before I get there. Oh, the mother complained about the child having pain in her private parts and all of that stuff, which I went to the hospital. So when my daughter went to the hospital, because so many people started surrounding her, she changed her story, right? You remember I told you my daughter was, one of his family members held my daughter upside down
Mm-hmm.
and beat her on her private parts. So what else that they did was doing to her besides beating her on her private parts? But you have the daycare worker write that. So no, and then you went to court to make it look, you and Laura Brooks make it, want to make her look like if I'm crazy, that I'm abusing the system, abusing the hospital, to talking that my child was having pain in her private parts. And there you have the father going ahead of me before I talk to the daycare, like I'm complaining, I'm making remarks about her marks and stuff like that. Okay, even with the marks, the bruises, and the cuts, the daycare never called child services or the police because they were doing favors for the father. And this
Mm-hmm.
is Possum, what Little Ice Stein on Possum Park in Newark, Delaware. I'm gonna call them out because they told me if the mark and stuff didn't happen there, they're not liable to report it. But they're mandated reporters.
Right.
So all of this you cover up and you don't want me to talk about it. And Maryann, I don't ever want to hear you say that you're sorry that I'm coming on your podcast or anything. You blame your podcast for anything. Because if I did not come and talk my story on this podcast, my life could have been taken and they wouldn't know what happened. It would have been my family words against their words.
Mm-hmm.
And you know why they were coming to my house? Because I was living alone. And they feel because my family wasn't getting involved, my family wanted to get involved. But I know if my family had only gotten involved, I know that situation would have gone so south. I didn't even care about my family. You understand? I am trained as an officer, police officer. I train. So I didn't need my family to get involved. But they took advantage because they didn't see nobody. Or they feel nobody was there to back me. That's why they feel so comfortable coming to my house.
Mm-hmm.
And say, well, Whittington talking about forgetting what happened, or you was want to dismiss what happened. To me, they have one particular individual, and I would never get his face out my head. His face is imprinted in my head. Is this medium sized white male, older male, long like little long hair, scruffy beards with round glasses. That man's face never left my memory.
Mm-hmm.
Never left my memory. And he drive a black Mercedes Benz. His windows wasn't tinted. But most of the other people that was coming, their windows were tinted. Why were they coming to my house? You know, when my daughter was even 6 months, I could have been shot in front of my house. Like something just came to me and said, go in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people will riddle you with bullets. And you don't have a gun to defend yourself. Go into the house. I stand up and I watch them for a good 20 minutes to show them that I am not scared of them. I wasn't scared. But a little voice said, you have your daughter with you. She's 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
She was in the car seat. They was in front of my driveway. This went on for 3 years. So you want to, like I said, scapegoat me because I'm talking about what you did to me and suffering my child and denying me the right to my child? and you're hurting her with her education and reunification. Even in the prison, it don't ever take that long for the inmates to to reunite with their kids. And we're just in a small room. You don't have a playground at the visitation center. It's just a small room. Worse than the prison. It's just a small room. You can't ever come outside, nothing. And then coming back to that visitation center. Okay, you had so much missed visits. I overheard a conversation with another parent that was there. The other party, she missed like five visits, and they was waiting for her to make the sixth visit, even if it's good or not. They already contact the court. Why is it different in my case? Why is my case being treated differently? Why are they not reporting all the missed visits more than 5 times back to back to the court, just like what they did with that woman? She wasn't coming. It's a fact she wasn't coming because the guy was coming there, but the mother wasn't showing up with the child. So why the same wasn't done in my case? And then when I come on the podcast and when I go to court and I talk about these things, you want to penalize me and brutalize me and you want to silence me. I'm not going to be silent. Because what good for the goose is good for the gander. Because just like how you stopped that woman visit, the same should have done in my case numerous times. You remember when I did the podcast when that visitation center stated that they stopped my visit at one point because Natalie Ashkin ordered them to put a stay, which they should have never done. That's not their job to put a stay. That's supposed to come from the court. Then Tia Tucker had stopped my visit like for 4 or 5 months because she said I didn't respond to some letter that she sent out to me, which in the address that she sent the letter to, that address I never gave her, 101 Foster Avenue. Never. All the paperwork that I fill out for the visitation center, that address was never given to her. But you see that the games they're playing, right? You want to spite me, you want to hurt me, but you're not thinking about the well-being of the child.
Oh, just terrible.
And we should never reach here for me to be in supervised visit, because in September of 2023, Judge Natalie Ashkins, after, with them coming to my house and all of that, which I explained in previous podcasts, that, my family was concerned eventually because I didn't want him to get involved. They was concerned about my life, my safety. I moved to New York because of my safety. And then with that phone call that I get from that woman. So with that being court, but they don't want to say that they were part of the reason why I moved at that time. So she said if I want to reunite back with my daughter, I had to do the mental health evaluation, which I had an attorney did that. And that attorney, the law office, they did every single thing to the T, the follow up. The only thing with the law center, they don't represent you in court physically. But when it comes to the paperwork, following up with the court and everything, they do that. So that center follow up with everything to the T. Sharon Epps Center follow up with every single thing to the T. She contact Laura Brooks. She contact Patricia Weir. Patricia Weir never answered. Laura Brooks never responded either. And my visitation was granted. They didn't give me my daughter, like she said. Not just Natalie Ashton didn't give me my daughter, like she said. Once I finished the mental health evaluation, which was done, she changed her mind and she put me back to supervised visit. Then it changed all the way now. So that's what somebody said. A judge cannot put a court order and just say, "Oh, I'm not going to do it to change your mind." And that's what Natalie Ashton was doing. So you change your mind from that. Now we're still in supervised visit. And now the father missed how many visits again? Because the so-called doctor that he claimed wrote right so that she have to use Miralax on the weekends. But the doctor did not say anything like that. I read the doctor's note. The doctor did not say anything like that. And there's a doctor from Nemours. But you see, the father is using his strings again. Because you see, his father, before he passed, he worked at Nemours Hospital for over 30 years. So they have connections there, you know? So it's all connections with him. Here we go with the connections again.
Uh-huh.
And he himself worked there for a few years at Nemours Hospital. So you're going before me, charming all these people that don't mind risking the license or whatever it is that they need to risk, right? But the doctor did not write anything like that. And I did tell the visitation center, I did say that he did inform them the email he sent to me. But still, we're doing supervised visits. We're waiting on the counselor who disappeared again. The court order haven't been followed. Not one court order have you followed. And you want to know why I'm doing a podcast? Because if anything should ever happen to me or my child, these are, and seeing that they want to be so generous in photocopying all the podcast notes, they could photocopy this one too. That none of it. So if we had 60 court orders, all 60 was never followed. Yes, people gonna ask, why didn't you follow up with the rule to show cause? The rule to show cause when they're not following the court order is $100 a piece.
Oh.
I already spent probably $1,000 filing all of that stuff. Then she was like, okay, mom, we're gonna try. Like Judge Natalie Ashkin did it in a way when we go into court, asked the father to drop his counter petition so that I can drop my rule of show cause, like she trying to make peace with the situation. But no, she didn't want to make peace with the situation. She just want to get rid of my rule of show cause because she didn't want to address it.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want to address it. And then she write in the court order, oh, mom voluntarily dismissed her rule to show cause. So why should I go now? You made another court order. Why should I go and pay again another $100 to show that this last court order is still in follow it? Which judge you ever come in contact with that is okay with writing 60 court orders and the person's not following it? Oh, Maryann?
Yeah.
I'm asking you.
Yeah. I mean,
which judge?
For what the taxpayer is paying Natalie Haskins, they're not getting their money's worth out of her.
I know you lost for words.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just this is just like just so sad that you have to be coming on podcast and talk about them.
A lot of parents
Because
are.
because it's because they have so much ego, they feel like you beneath them, that you can't tell them like, oh, this is wrong, or you can, you know, challenge them like if something is wrong or you don't agree with something. But in this case, you want to humble me by destroying my child.
That's what they want to do.
You don't care what it costs, what it takes.
Just like you said, the best interest of the court. That's exactly what it is. They don't care about these kids.
No, they don't. And then, like with even with all of this, you did right. You're upset with you're upset with me coming on the podcast. I talk how many times about the child support. You know, it's close to 3, probably going on to 4 years. I haven't modified my child support.
Typical.
It's over. I just filed a new petition, probably a month or 2. They still haven't called that one. So now I'm still in $20-something thousand back child support because they charge me something that I can't afford to pay. And over 4 years, you haven't modified my child support. And you want to continue to keep me in debt. Because you want to humble me, right? You want me to stay silent and all of that stuff. For everything that you've done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Every single thing that you have done wrong. But, you know, I just come to a place, I'm telling you, they have made me a better person. And I'm going to keep saying it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no anger for them, but I pray that God have mercy on them because only God can deal with them.
Oh,
and
yes.
He will.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to tell him how. I'm not going to sit and wait for nobody to get a revenge. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to sit by and stew and be angry and mad. I'm not going to carry that weight for them. For people who made conscious decisions to hurt me and to hurt my child, I'm not going to carry a weight. I'm not going to carry a weight. But I just pray that God have mercy on them because the pain that they have caused me, they would never be able to handle what they have done to me. or my child. Neither their children were able to handle the trauma and the hurt and the pain that it caused in my child. And I want to back up with something with Sable Whittington, because even with the constipation, she asked me, so what you guys do in Guyana for constipation? I said, basically, we never really like trouble with that stuff. A lot of things that people are going to the doctor for, we never, and it's really and truly true, we never really did.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother compound was always had fruit trees and all kind of different stuff. We always eating fruits. You have the sun, and it's just stuff that we never really trouble with.
Right.
So she was okay. Well, here in America, we use Miralax 3 times or whatever. So why you would even put yourself? So what? We in Guyana, we don't know how to deal with kids. We don't know how to deal with ailments. A lot of things we did not go to the hospital for. That did not half of the sickness, we did not have it there.
Mm.
You have fresh food, fresh fruits, fresh fish, fresh meat.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of sickness we did not have. I mean, now people probably don't eat, but I don't know. I haven't went there in years, in over 20 something years. But if she was with me, I know exactly what would, the issues that she's having, that he keep claiming and using, abusing that Miralax, which he was told by the specialist not to because of her age. And even though I explained that to her, you still come to tell me, but because of the American days, what we do. I'm still our mom. We, yes, I'm from a different culture. We do things differently. It doesn't mean that Americans are wrong or Guyanese are wrong or right. It doesn't mean, people just have different ways in doing things. And that's the problem. We don't know how to accept the difference. And in so many ways, we are similar to each other, regardless if from Guyana, regardless where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
We all have similarities just as much we have differences. But for you to undermine my culture and where I'm from, or who I am, or who my child mother is, as a counselor, that should have never come out of your mouth.
Exactly.
And then another thing, you told the court that the child need to bond with me. Now you're making it, oh, you want to make sure before my child come with me that I have a relation, that me and the father have a good relationship. Where in the court order say that?
Yeah.
So if they have people who marry and separated for how many years and they don't talk to each other. So when what is your measurement or your assessment when is a good time that the father and I would have a great relationship before my child could come back? That was never discussed in the
Mm-mm.
court. That the relationship between me and the father have to be great before the child come with me.
Oh, I've never heard of anything so crazy.
So there's the next thing for you to open your mouth and say that the relationship have to be, and then you tell me that he's being resistive of working things out. But when you was asking court, because of course his attorney acts it in a way to make me look bad, that I'm talking negative about him and whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't mention that he is being resistive to co-parenting with me. You never mentioned that in court.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, you telling me that you're waiting for us to have a good relationship. And like I tell her, I don't have a problem being cordial with him. But I don't know what her good relationship look like, what good relationship between me and him look like to her.
Well, and
Because if she think
also,
that we're gonna be buddy or friend, it's not gonna happen.
no, and his wife might not like that. Did they think of that?
You know?
Mm.
Yeah. But like I said, I am gonna get the ADA involved with her education. Most definitely.
No, I
Most
think that's
definitely I'm
smart.
getting them involved. Enough of this. I don't
Right.
care what else they want to do, but I am definitely will have them involved with what's going on with our education. Since the court don't want to do nothing and didn't do nothing and didn't make no attempts to do anything,
Mm-hmm.
I am going to get the ADA involved.
Good. You know, I'm glad you brought that up because this will also help other parents with these same issues.
Yes, get the ADA involved because anxiety children are doing good and stuff like all of that is under the IEP and EEP, all that stuff that I'm reading up on. The ADA covers all of that. That is part of their rights. And actually, that's a federal law with the schools that they have to do the EEP and IEP and all of that stuff. And they have to provide additional assistance for children who are not doing good. And for
Uh,
trauma, anxiety, and all of that covers under the ADA.
right.
The schools don't tell the parents, but it's a federal law that all schools from every state, from what the woman was telling me, every single state have to follow it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if it's Delaware, Iowa, or every state have to follow that.
Thank God it's federal.
That's why I don't get on it. I don't care what else they do. They could block me from whatever they want to block me from. These people don't understand there's nothing else you can do from me. Nothing else you can do to me. You have done the worst. You have
Mm-hmm.
done enough. They have done enough to me.
Mm.
They have done enough to me. But our education is going to be taken care of.
Right, right.
I don't ever care if you think that I'm not good enough to be a mother because I'm Guyanese. I'm still our mother. I'm the one who carried her for 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless what you feel about Guyanese people. You know what? The thing is that I even you talking about a country that you never even went to and visit. Some people in Delaware, they never left from Delaware to New York, Delaware to Philadelphia. And you want to talk about Guyana.
That's discrimination and racism. Really?
So all the time you had a problem with me being Guyanese and that I don't deserve to be a mother. I'm not Guyanese woman is don't deserving to be mothers. This Guyanese woman don't deserve to be a mother.
Oh.
She's not capable of being a mother. She's good enough to carry the child so the father can have her to exploit the mother for child support.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my daughter tell me this weekend, oh, you're not a police officer no more. You retire. And my daughter, when I was a police officer, she didn't ever born yet. So she asked me all these questions because somebody told her. And then they told her to tell me that I'm lazy. But I'm not even going to feed into that mess.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Because some of the questions that she's asking me, who I'm sleeping with and all of that stuff,
Mm.
like, I just tried to change the conversation.
Right, right. They're trying to
And I'm not going to
brainwash
bring
her.
into they are brainwashing her.
Mm-hmm.
She's brainwashed. When
Oh.
they're finished with my child, I don't know. Only God could. I'm telling you. But everything that happened to my child, it's solely on Natalie Ashkins.
It is.
Solely on her head. I don't care about the gal. I don't care about no other. It's solely on her because she's the judge.
Mm-hmm.
And you help destroy my child. Mentally, emotionally, psychologically. It's all that judge fault. She
I
tell me,
wonder.
but I need to take responsibility
Uh-huh.
for some of my action. What action? The only thing that I take responsibility that I should never make a child with him.
Mm-hmm.
I take that responsibility and I tell you over and over, I buy that bullet. I buy that bullet.
Mm.
Because he didn't ready for he's not no way in no right capacity in mind to say that you're a father that you don't care about it. You hate me so much, despise me so much. You don't care about her well-being, you don't care about her health, you don't care about your education, you don't whatever it is. Because if it was not for that child, he would not have no access nor connection with me.
Mm.
Absolutely none. But you're using her to keep harassing me and the court allowing you and the judge allowing you.
Mm.
But all the stuff that they were doing come under domestic violence too.
Exactly.
Not because they didn't take my life. It could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you say I'm just scared, trying to scare somebody to intimidate them and all of that stuff, it's just take that one quick snap for something to go wrong. Because if I'd only react to them, Who knows if my family was that ready get involved like they wanted to? hmm, so many things could have happened.
Oh, well, I'm so
So
glad.
I don't have no apology for no podcast that I did.
Mhm.
Absolutely none. Yes, the only thing that I'm going to say now that I would and I ask God to forgive me, the prayers that I prayed for them because I was angry at the time. Like, I don't care what happened to the husband, what happened to the children, the grandchildren, or whatever. It wasn't my place to decide God's penalty for them. So
Mhm.
I leave that in his hands. And I pray to God that
Mhm.
the suffering that they bring upon me and my child, that their spouse and their children and their grandchildren don't have to endure it. But however God chooses to deal with it is none of my business.
Right, right.
It's none of my business. But I ask for forgiveness for saying such prayers because I say those prayers out of anger,
Yeah,
like I should, like anybody would.
right. Aw.
I never had a problem sharing custody with her dad. Never,
Mm-mm.
never, never, never. And all these court orders you're putting in place, and none of it to follow. And you want somebody to be happy with what you're doing. So here we go. You just write a next court order. We from April, and now we 2025 court order still haven't been followed. Natalie Ashkins, another court order. So
Yeah.
what, you think I'm going to spend another $100? No, I'm not. I'm not going to spend another $100 for you to for undermine
Yeah, taxpayer needs to know this.
and waste time again when you don't intend to correct the behavior, the pattern that keep going on for years. That the father is not following the court order, never follow the court order, but you always turn it is the mother's fault. There's no way, realistically, one person could always be wrong. If
Mhm.
I'm wrong about something, I will admit that I'm wrong. I am adult enough and grown enough to admit when I'm wrong about something.
Mhm.
But when you've been doing stuff against the law, I I am from that background. And I'm just a stickler for certain things. And you didn't like me because I tell the truth about what you've been doing. You want me to just roll over and stay quiet with all this nonsense they were doing?
Right. Oh,
You just want me to stay quiet.
and I'm glad you're speaking out, and this will also help other parents speak out. And I know that if you want anyone to reach you, they have to come through me at
Correct.
dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com. So, you know, Marineka, don't jump off, okay? Slam the Gavel is a podcast to help the public understand what really goes on in these courtrooms. I'm your host, Maryann Petri. You can find me on Spotify, YouTube. Please like and subscribe, and that includes you, Judge Natalie Haskins. Please like and subscribe. Apple, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google, and other platforms I don't know about. Again, feel free to buy me a coffee, Natalie Haskins, to help keep this podcast going. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Marineka.
You're welcome.